All right, it looks like it's working. I'm going to wait and make sure. We had a little bit of trouble with the sound working last time. So I'm going to make sure that the sound is coming through. That was an issue last time. And then I'm going to make sure that the computer catches up with me as well. There we go. It's a little bit slow, but it's there. So I'm just going to wait for the thumbs up that we got sound before I talk too much. And then I can fix that if not, because we did figure out a backup plan if it had issues. All right. It's good. I'm just waiting for someone to say yes. Actually, you know what? I can. Oh, good. Okay, Donna just answered that she can hear me. Perfect. I was just going to say, I guess I could turn the sound up for a second and just make sure it's coming through. Yay, I'm glad it's working. I don't know what happened last time. I rebooted my computer and Leah and I tested it. It worked. So I was just kind of fingers crossed and hoping that it would cooperate as it was supposed to. So hello, Susie and Donna and Laura and Darlene and Diane and Julie. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Diane. I'm glad the sound is good. Perfect. All right, I'm waiting here for Leah to hop in. I know she'll be here any minute or any second, probably not even not even very long as it is. And then we'll start going over all the things that we need to know. I know, oh, there it is. And there I see Leah on there. Leah mentioned that it looked like there was a little bit of a snag with the email going out. So I know some people might have missed the notification, but we do these always at the same time. So hopefully as many people as possible remembered. All right, so I'm going to be crafting with the one of our newest releases next week. Leah and I will be together with a sneak peek of our June release already. I can't believe that it's already that time. But we're going to be using the Delicate Foliage. This will actually be my first time this morning using it. I never got around to using it for the release, so I'm kind of excited to. Oh, Stacy, I'm so glad that you are back for a second time and that you loved it. Awesome. All right, so a couple quick things before we get started. I already mentioned Leah is behind the scenes, so where that Pinkfresh Studio name is, that's Leah that's answering your questions and chatting with you. I do my best to watch and catch your comments and your questions as we go along, especially once I start crafting. Ooh, which reminds me, hold on. I need to turn my hot foil machine on so that's ready because we're going to hot foil today and that takes a few minutes to heat up. So there we go. Let me make sure that that's, I almost forgot that one. And that will just slow us down. So any questions that I miss or anything, Leah does a great job of catching those. If we somehow both miss it, just ask again. I promise we're not ignoring you. Just sometimes that chat can start moving a little quicker than we expect, and it's easy to miss something. If you do have a question about what I'm using today, I have linked everything in the video description. There's a link right to the store. If you're wondering about what ink color I'm using or what stamp or hot foil set or anything, you can find that all there. Feel free to ask in the chat or anything if you need to as well, because we can always try and catch that. But it's nice to know that it's there as a reference, even on replay, that it's there and available. And then one other very important detail, especially if you're new here, we give away a $15 gift card at every one of these lives. I saw Stacy. Okay, maybe that was who I already commented on before. So the way you enter for that is just what everyone's doing already. Interact in the chat. You can ask a question, just chat with everybody, answer a question if you happen to know the answer. And then one other way you can get an entry is by sharing this video. I don't know exactly where it is, and I'm going to screw it up if I try and point, but there's a little share button, and you can grab a link or just grab the link from your web browser and share it in a message to a friend on your own social media, Instagram, Facebook, or if you're part of like a crafty group and you know it's allowed with the rules, you're welcome to share that there. And then come back, and because the only way we know you do that is if you let us know. So just leave us another comment and let us know you shared, and that counts as another entry. Leah will pick that winner at the end and announce it. She'll post it in the comments, and then I'll announce it out loud as well. And then if you are new here, I know a couple people were just back for their second time. So you've already been here and we're happy to welcome you back. But if this is your first time, please just leave a little message in the comment letting us know you're new, and we'd love to welcome you. I will say I might miss some of those once I start getting going on crafting. So I'm just going to say a big hello and welcome now. And if I miss you, I'm really glad that you're here, and I'm sorry that I miss your comment as it goes by. Still waiting a second for the hot foil machine to warm up, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it around and we'll go ahead and get started, just kind of getting things set up, getting the hot foil trimmed out, getting our cardstock ready, all of that stuff. So we're all ready. Oh, and then as I knew I was forgetting something, Leah just mentioned one other thing. We also really appreciate if you hit the thumbs up. It's not necessarily an entry for the giveaway or anything, but especially when our email is uncooperative and decides not to send out, it just helps more people find us and get on here so that they can join the fun. So if you're enjoying this and don't mind hitting that thumbs up button, we really, really appreciate it and are grateful for that. All right, I'm going to switch the camera around and we'll start getting set up. Make sure that's cooperating. Okay, good. And we've got this on here. It's heating up. I'm waiting for the platform ready light to come on. But let me show you really quick the set that we're going to use today. We'll probably use a sentiment from the stamp set because there's a couple of great sentiments. There's coordinating dies for these two, and then a couple of little smaller sentiments. These are super easy stencils. There's only two, so it's a less expensive stencil set and really quick and easy to do. Oh, Stacy, you have not hot foiled. You just be prepared that if you are tempted to get into it, it's very, very addictive. So we might be able to convert you over to the hot foiling side. We'll do our best anyway. All right, then we have the coordinating die, and then of course the hot foil plate, and that's what we're going to use today. I'm just going to set that on there while that starts to heat up. And for now, I'm just going to put all of this stuff out of the way. And then I'm going to use polished brass is the hot foil I picked to use. It's kind of just like a, I don't know, it's a gold with kind of a hint of copper is what I feel like. Not full on copper, but it's just a little bit, I don't know, warmer, deeper, darker, bolder than just the plain old gold. So I'm just going to trim off a little piece of this. And we will, oh, there we go. The platform's ready. So let's get that timer on. That actually worked out really well. I was afraid we'd be way behind. Just checking the comments here while I wait. Thank you for the thumbs up, Eva and Rochelle. Oh, and Connie, I'm glad you enjoyed those. It's kind of fun when we eventually release some of the products that were part of events. We don't always, and there's some of them that might never, we keep some of them exclusive, but, and I think we're getting, now I don't remember the exact day, but I do think we're getting pretty close to opening registration for our holiday event. So I'm just going to kind of throw that out there to be watching. Not like today or tomorrow or something like that, but like definitely this month. And I think sooner rather than later in the month, but we'll have details posted soon about that. And there's no limit of registration or anything like that. All right, my timer went off. So I'm going to slide this off to the side just a little so I can get my die cut machine up here and have room to fit that. Then we're going to loosen this from the base. And then we want to put our cardstock, put our foil pretty side down, cardstock on top, the kind of cloudy shim and the clear shim or plate or whatever, spacer pad, I guess. And then let's run this through our machine. Darlene, the mini hot foil class. I think we're still just ironing out details for that. We'll announce it once we get everything finalized, but we're kind of on, got to make sure we're all ready before we announce something and have to change it. So, but hopefully very soon. Okay. And this is just falling right off, and look at that. That's a perfect, actually, you know what? I see I got one little tiny bit. I think I just slipped when I put it in. So I got one teensy tiny bit of overfoiling, but you know what? I don't think it's even going to be noticeable. It's just a tiny bit around the sleeves and everything else looks great. So Excuse my voice. I think I'm just gonna leave that there and not worry about it. Because I could redo it, but I don't think it's really worth the hassle of redoing that. And yes, Janine, that was what we were just referring to. Just gotta get, excuse me, I'm gonna take a little drink of water here real quick. All right, so now we have this beautiful hot foiled, and I love how just how detailed this is. Even if you die cut this and did nothing else, I think it's beautiful. And it's such a pretty background, even without adding anything else. But you know, of course, we have to do layering stencils. Since this is only 2 layers, we only need 2 ink colors. I'm going to mix from different color families. Got Mermaid, Cove, and Seaside. Stacy, the overfoiling. I think for me, what it was is when I set everything in and I picked it up, my fingers kind of slipped and glitched. So I think it was pressing down and then I kind of jumped it. I think that's exactly. And I will give it my best little shot to really erase that overfoiling, but it really is a teensy tiny bit. I have this, what is it, a Mono Zero elastomer eraser. I don't know if this is the best thing, but I like that I can get in those little detailed spots sometimes and get that off. So I'm going to do that a little. It's not completely taking it away, but it's softening it a little. And it really, really, truly is not very noticeable. If it really bugged me, I'd just redo it because it's just foil and paper. But yeah, doing this is actually getting a good bit of it off. So I could use it. I know some people like using a sand eraser. I don't think I'm very good at a sand eraser because I always feel like I take off more than I mean to. But this is actually, I really like this. That's doing a great job of, it's just leaving a hint of a shadow now. So that's way better. I don't know if you can see that on there, but that actually took quite a bit of it. Yeah, most of the time the overfurling I get is so little that I just don't, I mean, maybe I should, but I just don't worry about it. It's not that much. It doesn't bother me that much, but it's just one of those things that sometimes happens. And like I said, it's not the end of the world. It's not really noticeable by the time it's all done, like Connie just said. So, but yes, a lot of people like a mono sand eraser. Like I said, I feel like I'm just not good at being gentle enough on that. So I always kind of rip up my paper. So I do like, if I'm going to do it, I like this. I'll show you this one again. Mono Zero elastomer. So it's like a retractable pen or pencil. So it's got a really tiny little detailed tip on it that I like. So, okay. So we're going to use Seaside in a minute, but we're going to start with Mermaid Cove. And then start lining up our stencils here. And I'm going to do Mermaid Cove for the main. That first stencil has the majority of the leaves on there. The next one's a little bit less. And I'm going to just line up, this one lines up with the hot foiled leaves. So it's super easy to line up. The next one is a little bit trickier, but I love the reference on the back of the packaging to help with that. So when we get to that one, I'll kind of show you how I line that one up. But for now, let's go get started here. Checking the, yeah, Gail, of course we have to do layering stencils. All right. So I'm going to pull out one of my blending brushes. This is, I label mine, I have darks and then lights. And so I keep my lights for my lightest shades, and then I use all of these for the medium up to the dark shades. And Mermaid Cove is a pretty deep color. And I want, excuse me, I want some deeper color kind of at the base of the leaves, but I also want to get some variation in there. And that's where I love, I'm so sorry, my voice was fine this morning until I tried to start talking in a live. I love these little brushes, how great it makes it to get into those nooks and crannies and get that shading and that variation. So I'm just kind of starting off the edge of the stencil. So you notice I'm kind of using the blank parts of the stencil as a starting spot to kind of get my initial color down. And then I'm just getting it deeper at that base and then letting it fade off as I go towards the outer edges, if that makes sense. We're just going to do that all the way around on each little section of the greenery. So that we get a little more even on that, like at the base of each leaf, getting it a little bit deeper. But then as each little bit of foliage, just deeper at the base and then fading out to that softer tone. I love this color. This is such a pretty deep aqua tone. It's just so fun. Okay, I think we've got that where I want it. Again, a nice little bit of deeper color on parts of it and fading out. Okay, we'll wipe that excess off of the stencil. Put that ink out of the way and let's check that first reveal. I'm going to save that tape for the next stencil. Great. And there we go. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that color just lovely? I'm going to hold that up a little closer so you can see. So pretty. All right, so now we've got the next stencil layer, and I'm going to show you on the back of the packaging. If you look on here, you will notice that none of that layer lines up with any of the outline foiling. So this right here is your friend. This is the reference that's going to tell you where to line everything up. So I kind of just picked a couple different spots that I could look and see, like these two little ones are going to go right in that little spot there. And then this one right here is going to go right in. Let me get that in the right spot there. Nope. There we go. Right in there. So as I start to line those up, everything else is just going to sort of fall into place. So you can start looking like this little one down here. You can see that that's fitting right where it should, a little bit overlapping there. That one right there is fitting right where it should, and just kind of wiggle it around until you're happy with where it's lining up. And that looks perfect to me. So let me just show you there. So we've got that one right there, and you can see that's lined up where it should be. This one going in between, and it's overlapping. Just kind of pick a couple of key spots that you can look and go, okay, that looks right. That's lining up where I want it to be. Really easy once you kind of get that as a reference and you know what you're doing. Before that, it's like if you're just looking at it and quickly looking at somewhere to put it, it might look a little, but when it's all done, it looks so pretty having those just ethereal extra greenery that's not really attached to the foiling as well. It just gives it kind of a pretty layered look. All right. And we're going to just come on here and do the same thing with Seaside for this time. There's a little less here, so it's not going to take as long to go through and get to all of the layers and everything, because there's just not as many openings to stencil over. So I also probably won't need as much ink either. And I'm not going to get as much variation in there either with this, just because, like I said, there's not as much opening an area to work in, and I just want to make sure I get color in all of those spots. There's something about aqua and blue that I just love together. Sometimes I'll combine those on a single layer, like use the same tone and maybe put the blue at the base and then blend out with the aqua or something like that. I'm going to save that too, because I'll probably use that to tape something down. Move this out of the way. And let's do the second and final on this one, magic reveal. And there we go. Look at how, so that's already really, really pretty and delicate. But wait till we die cut it. That's when this really gets magical. I'm going to pull out the coordinating die. And we're going to line this up. I'll just use that tape we used to hold the stencils in place. And you can see how perfectly all of those layer 2 stencil bits lined up, because all of those little bits that were just stenciled separately are all fitting right inside the die cut lines like we want them to. All right, so I've got that lined up. I'm gonna pop off camera and go ahead and die cut this, and then I'll be right back. Pull this off. Put that off there for now. Save that tape, because we'll still use it here in a few minutes. And pop that piece out. Let's get that out of the way here and that out of the way. And then we'll start popping out some of those little extra pieces. I'm going to get that one big piece there. And all of those little tiny chads that are going to add so much of the detail to this and really make it fit its name, that delicate foliage. I mean, because it's already pretty, but once you add all these little cutouts, I feel like that's really where all these details just start to pop, and it feels so dainty and delicate and just beautiful. All right, move this out of the way again. And let's take a closer look at that beautiful piece that we have now. There are dies. Oh, of course, yes, Stacy, we always try and release things in sets so that you have everything. And like Leah just mentioned, if you're looking for any of these, they're all linked in the video description. So you can find specifically each thing that's available. But she did just link directly to the website. You can search for those there as well. All right, let me move some of my stuff here out of the way. Done hot foiling, so I just want to get that out of the way. Keep this, we don't need this. All right. And it looks like I have plenty of time, so I really didn't have to do this too much in advance. I could have done both of these, but I did stencil and die cut another one of these, so I would have two of them. Interestingly enough, I only did this about a half hour before we went, and I don't know if you can see the difference of how, if you're not familiar with dye inks and our inks, they part of dye ink properties is that when you stamp or stencil or whatever you do with them, it takes a little while for that dye to sink into the paper. And as it does that, the colors are going to smooth out a little bit and soften out a little bit. So I don't know if it shows up on camera, but there's a little bit, I use the exact same colors. I'm pretty sure I use the relatively exact same amount of color and ink and everything. And just in that little bit of a half hour, how the colors have kind of softened and smoothed. So that's why I kind of rely and really like to have ink swatches, because you can't just quickly test them and go, yeah, that's the color I want. It's nice to kind of know what it's not a huge difference, but it is nice to know what it's going to look like once it dries all the way. So we've got these two. I'm going to make a slimline card. That's why I did two of them. Normally, there's no way you need two of these on the same card. So I'm going to use the slim braided circles. I already pre-die cut one of those out. It's been a while since I've used that one. I love the inverted scallop circle one, and I use that one quite a bit, but I haven't used this one in a good long while. And then I've already pre-made a 4x9 soft blue mini slimline card base to kind of pair together with this. So now we just got to pick how, because I want to have one coming from the top and one coming from the bottom. So I just kind of want to play with, how do I want this kind of come in and fit here, you know? All right. That's actually not a bad fit there. Let's see. I'm gonna do like that. And if we do that, we could just snip it off there and it would fit right in. I think that would actually work really well. Let's see how that looks when we do the same thing from the top. And then we might be able to use some of that extra greenery to tuck around Actually, let me do that way. Sorry. Think about how I wanted to do that. I really like that. I think that's actually going to be about what we want. Okay, so scary part, we're going to go ahead and nip this off. Are you ready for the scary part? I promise it's not as bad as it sounds. There we go. And then we keep this little, I'm just going to trim off that extra little bit to make it look smooth and pretty. And then we might tuck those up around the top as well. Okay, so we can do the same thing and trim this one down like that. And just follow the curve of that leaf around. And that'll give us something that looks really nice. And then trim that off as well. Just a couple little hairs. So we really are almost wasting nothing. Yes, foliage surgery. I like that definition. Okay. So now all we got to do is plan right where we want to put that, and we'll glue that in place. And then, like I said, we might be able to tuck. Ooh, actually, I don't even mind that. Kind of tucked around. We're just reshaping these things and making them look pretty. So if we kind of do that to frame around the sentiment or something, I don't know. Or we might just tuck these. One of these down around here. I don't know yet. We'll figure that one out in a minute. But for now, we've got this. Roxanne, yes, birds or butterflies would be really cute in those branches. That's a great idea. All right, which one do we want? I kind of might go for Enjoy Today. I don't know though. You Are Wonderful is pretty. Actually, that one might fit better if we put the, yeah, we're going to do that. All right, so I'm going to just set these aside for now and let's get our sentiment ready. I think, so this, it's from a pack of Michael's cardstock, whatever the lightest one. I don't know. It's one of their blue packs that has a light color. So I don't know that it has a specific name per se. It's a good soft blue that works really well with these colors. All right, I'm going to heat emboss my sentiment so it'll kind of match with the gold hot foiling that we did. So let's pick. Grab which color. I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with my Simon Says Antique Gold. I think that's going to match well with the color of the foiling that we did. So let's get the powder tool on here, get a little of that. Yes, those little butterfly, that's a great idea. It makes me kind of go, I wonder if I should pull those out and put them on there. Never know. We'll see how much time. We're making really good time. So if we have time, we might just have to break those out and decide if we want to add them on there. It would not be on the supply list. It would be a kind of on a whim sort of thing, but we're allowed to do that, right? This is a nice delicate one. I'm gonna stamp it just a few times to make sure I have a good impression. Nice and soft with my stamp press. And then let's, I'll sheet of paper. I'm gonna put some embossing powder on this. I'm kind of messy with embossing powder. Okay, I think we got that good. Put that away. I think I even did it with minimal mess. We'll see if I succeeded there. I hate embossing powder on my desk. Yes, what Leah said, we love aqua and different colors, kind of unique colors for greenery is super fun. All right, I'm going to use my heat gun real quick. I think it'll mute me for a minute and I'll be right back. Right, so that is all heat embossed and it looks like a great color to go with stuff. So let's Let's go ahead and die cut that out as well. Then we'll have that all ready to go on our cart also. Line that up. All right, and I will die cut this and be right back again. Right, that one die cut, I might have to die cut an extra one or two to stack up. So might just grab some of my scrap papers and do that real quick. So I'll be right back. Here's one. I'm going to do just one more, and then we should be good to go. All right, that should work. Okay, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a second and put this away because if I don't, it'll just bug me. Oops, I guess I need the pointy edge of that. Huh? Okay, well, you know what? I'll do that later, but I will use this to poke those out. So we're all ready to work on those. All right. Gail, I missed a jar plenty. That's why I have a little mini vacuum clean it up because it drives me bonkers. All right, let's stack these sentiments real quick. So we're ready to start assembling everything. One layer together, and final one here assembled. And this is just kind of an optional, I might still put foam adhesive. Just sometimes these sentiments are really dainty and delicate. So when I die cut them out like this, a lot of times I just like to layer a couple together. Just because it makes it a little more stable, it almost makes it like a chipboard embellishment. So it gives you some dimension if you just stick it straight down with glue, or if you decide to pop it up on foam or anything, it gives you just another little bit of help there as well. All right, so pop this in here. There's that lovely hot foil. Oh, that's perfect. I love it. And then decide where do we want to put. Oh, I kind of like that, how it kind of pops around in frames. Not quite sure yet though. It's kind of pretty like that. I do something very similar on this side too. Let's play with that a little. Okay, if it doesn't perfectly. I don't know. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm also not sure if I like it better over here. Let's swap that out. I don't know. I'm going to hold off on those and just work on these to start with here. So first things first, let's get this popped up on some foam, because that's a good spot to start. And we're going to need some trim down. I could use just little thin foam strips, which might be quicker, and maybe that's exactly what I should do. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what, these aren't all looking small. I'm just going to save that big piece of foam for another project. We're going to go with the smaller foam pieces. I think that's going to be a little bit of a smarter choice on this one. That will allow us to kind of keep that dimension a little more stable right between those thin little pieces. One more in the other center there. I think that'll do a good job. Need one for the very top. This might take a little while here. That's why I was like, you know what, if I already need little strips, this is going to be way quicker than if I start trying to trim down little bits of things. That's going to take way longer. Yeah, okay, I'm going to leave that there for now. All right, and then for down the sides, those are a little wider. So I've started to find, I just grabbed a double strip, and that gives me a little bit of a better width instead of having to layer it two one at a time. It's much quicker just to do it this way. Almost there. All right, last section here, and then we should be pretty good. We could stick this straight down, but I kind of like the idea of just leaving it, putting it popped up on foam. It's a small little tidbit, but it adds so much dimension and just makes it a little more fun. I read the comments as I'm peeling these off. All my little backings that I need to get in the trash now when we're done. Only downside of all the foam adhesive is getting all the backing off. Ruth, I know we had a little glitch again with the email. We're working behind the scenes to get that fixed, but slow things down a little. All right, let me get that trash off of there, and then let's get this all ready to put on our nice soft blue card base. And I'm going to try and kind of get my head over here so I can get it on straight, I hope. At least straight enough to be good enough. I think that works. Looks pretty good to me. All right, so let's grab our larger bits of the foliage here. I'm going to do our usual, I'm going to flip these up, get a little bit of dimension on them. So you know how much we love that. And then I'm going to use liquid glue to put these down. These are so tiny and detailed. I don't want to, definitely don't want to mess that, I can talk, with foam adhesive and doing all of that. So I'm just going to put some little random bits of foam adhesive, and I'm going to leave some room for things to kind of float free and give us that lovely dimension that we all like so much. And then let's just get this. I'm trying to kind of choose where I place it so that it, for the most part, fits within the borders of my Slimline card. I don't mind if it goes a little bit over. It's not going to be that big of a deal. And then just sticking it down where I have that liquid glue. So hopefully you can kind of see how that makes it look like it's kind of coming out like that. You, Chamberlain, thank you. You totally can. It's just, I always say it's paper and ink, and it's all replaceable. So once you have the supplies, it's really easy to kind of choose what you want to do with them. And the best way to do it is just playing and not being afraid of it not being perfect. I mean, perfection is kind of the enemy of creativity, I feel like. What's that saying? It's handmade, not Hallmark. All right, and then we're going to just do this one the exact Same thing, just reversed from the other side. Same thing, I'm gonna pop it in there, make sure I've got it centered where I want, and stick all of those little glue spots down that I had. Trying to make sure they all kind of adhere enough to, like I said, I don't mind some of it floating free, but I don't want anything to get caught and ripped too badly. Okay, so now we have that beautiful foliage coming from the top and bottom. Let's play with one other thing I didn't, nope, I don't like that. That kind of buries it there. Do I like, nope, I don't really like that. Nope, that's too much. I'm kind of thinking these might just end up going on the inside or on the envelope or something like that. I haven't fully made up my mind yet, but as much as these could work and could fit some different places, I'm just not really feeling any of it right now. So we're going to save those branches. Those will get put to good use somewhere else. And we're going to, actually, I've got one last idea here. I'll make sure that we don't like those coming out of both sides where that sentiment is. Nope, I don't like that either. I didn't think I would, but you never know. All right, so I am going to use some of those little foam scraps and pop those on there to pop that up with a little bit of foam adhesive. So it'll just be a little more stable. There, and let's trim that one down. Oops. Actually use that tiny dot there. I think that will fit right on there. All right, and then before I stick that down, you are wonderful. Do I want to add? You're smiling. Might add that. So we'll leave a little room down there. I stick that down. If we don't use it, we'll just embellish with some jewels or add a little more of the greenery there. All right, I think that's level. So we got that on there. Let's go ahead and stamp that in a little bit of, which one did I? Yeah. Grab that. Misty, and we'll stamp that one in detail black. Yeah, I agree. That would be too much in the center. That's kind of what I was like. I don't know about those extra branches. Like I said, those might just be saved for something else. All right, that lined up on there. And grab my little detailed black ink cube. We'll stamp this a few times. I always like to kind of do it gently to make sure I don't squish out that dainty sentiment and that I get a nice crisp impression. So I probably don't even have to do it another time, but do it one more time just for fun. And just fingertips, I do it really gentle. I'm a kind of a soft stamper because of that. And I'm going to clean off that black ink there. I'm seeing lots of votes for butterflies. We might be able to squeeze a couple of butterflies on there. I might skip the stenciling and just stamp them and cut them out. But we might just do that. We might just do that. We'll see how we're doing once I get this sentiment on there. I am kind of liking that idea. I think butterflies would be really cute. All right. Let's get this trimmed down into just a sentiment strip. That part's done. Grab the butterflies out and we'll decide about that. I think that might have been slightly wonky. I might have to fix that a little. Okay. And actually, and I might even, that I've got that stuck down there, should have just waited to stick this down. I think I'm liking, yeah, I'm going to slightly off center that. And then we'll trim that down into a little banner shape. So I just like to kind of do a quick little hand trim banner for these little thin sentiment strips. It's pretty easy and you can just customize it to whatever length you want. So my best advice is I trim the sides to where I want it, and then I do a little snip about the same distance in on each end, and then cut a V into that center point. Super easy. And then you have that cute little custom banner. So we'll pop that up, of course, on more foam because why not? But I gotta check though, because we only want the part under there. So we're gonna put it on first little bit there. And then I don't know if that's too much. So I'm gonna check and see before I peel the, actually that's kind of perfect. Okay, I gotta use the grid on here because I keep adjusting this thinking it's crooked, but I think it's because I'm getting distracted by, there we go. I could use a little T ruler or something if I was smart, but I'm not that smart. So I'm gonna tuck that in there. So the bottom of the F, there we go, kind of goes right between the R and smiling. So it nestles in there just a little bit. All right, so it's coming together. Let's see. Fine. You know what? I'm actually wondering. I do have, let's see, what do we think about the butterfly? I have one of these already stamped out. Would save us even a little bit of time. We might just go ahead and die cut this. Like I said, I think I'll put the stenciling and we'll just go for the simple little black butterflies around there from this butterfly garden set. No stenciling, just simple colors. Let me get that lined up nice and carefully. All right, I will die cut this and be right back. All right, take those little tape straps off of there. All right, let's grab those little butterflies out. I don't know, we might even end up using some of the foliage there too. We'll decide that when we get to that spot. Oops, I kind of that funky. And then that little butterfly. And then I don't think so, but let's just see. I don't know. I mean, those might not even be too bad, but right now let's focus on butterflies and where we kind of want to tuck some of those. So maybe one up there. Kind of like one, maybe one there. That kind of works. I'm probably only going to use 3 of these because I don't know, I kind of like the idea of keeping these in 3s. And that is just a teensy tiny fun little detail. I do like that. I think that might be where we go. Just do that. I think I'll save this one. And just make sure that I don't, nope. I think we could put some of those on here. I just feel like it's going to start getting confusing and complicated adding in the black images as well. Kind of like it. I don't know. Might be something I play with after the live and decide if we like it. It is kind of cute tucked around up behind that. Double check and see how I feel about this. No, like I said, I might think about some of those and we'll deal with that. But yes, the butterflies are the perfect size. So we're just going to stick with the butterflies for now. We'll save that little butterfly for something else. And we'll just quickly tuck a little tiny bit of there we go. All right, and I'm going to just use liquid glue on these butterflies to tuck them on and just kind of curl up the edges. So I'm just going to do a tiny bit of glue in the middle to get it tucked on there so that it'll hopefully still pop up and have, there we go, that down. Do the same thing on this one, kind of curl up that. And you know what? I still haven't pulled out the sparkle and bling yet. So we'll see. They probably would be pretty with a touch of blue rocks, or blue, not glue. I'm putting glue on, and blue and glue rhymes, so that made perfect sense. In fact, as I'm starting to put this away, I probably should just wait because we're going to need it for embellishments and sparkle here in just a minute. But there's those little butterflies tucked on there. And let's pull out what I was thinking about for sparkle. That might have changed. So that's the options I was thinking of to begin with was sapphire jewels, which actually that might still work. Oh, nope, I don't want the gold glitter, although now it makes me wonder about champagne would work. And I really don't like the gold those. And the other one that would look really good probably it's just the iridescent photograph. So I might have linked the wrong thing. So we might use something different than what is linked, but I will update that after the live. So let's get all of these out. I might actually mix and match. Sometimes it's fun to do little trios of different things and you get a whole different texture and feel. That can be really fun. Oh, I lost one somewhere. Pop a few out there. And you know, okay, so these sapphires, someone said they look too dark blue. They do when you look at the back of them. But I want to wait and see because sometimes I'm surprised because the front of them looks very different. See, when you get it on there, that really doesn't look as dark blue because the top part is very iridescent. So it has a whole different look on there than what you would maybe expect once you put it on. So I always try to kind of give it the benefit of the doubt. I do think though, I'm going to go with, and I've got more of these if I'm missing the biggest ones. Hold on. Here. Okay, I was missing in these, the very biggest ones, so I just need a couple of those if I'm going to use that size. That big, I've used up too many and running low. So let's ponder that. Let's maybe do a big one of that, medium of that. Maybe the second to the smallest. Nope. That one is the right one. Nope, I think I even still like just the itty bitty there of that. So that actually looks really pretty and fancy and elegant and really pulls those colors together quite nicely. I've got one more little one. And they're all just sparkly in their own way, which does a great job of pulling all those colors together. Now I just got to decide, do I want them in the little row like that, or do I want them in little trios and clusters? I'm also not sure if I want them. This is where I get quiet and start thinking. So here's a thought. This might be what we do. Might do a little more of a longer row over here. There we go. And then the threes. Yes, okay. That's working for me. I think I like that idea because I do need them in. You need those odd numbers, right? That's kind of important on these. So we are going to need one more of those big ones here. Yep, and vellum butterflies would have been another great way to do that too, but considering time constraints, I kind of went with what I had ready to go already. All right, We're gonna pop that on, and then I just need to stick all these down. And then we are done and we can wrap this up. That looks really good. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna call that a done deal. I could sit and think about this all day and find 10 different ways to arrange them. And I did just, okay. I'm gonna grab a clear block because sometimes these slimline cards want to kind of pop up inconveniently and make it hard to put them where I want them. So let me get one more of those big ones there and try that again. I kind of got glue all over that one. There we go. Stay where I put you. Up there, it's out of the way. Goodness. Good thing this glue dries clear, huh? Or I would have a really big mess down here. Okay. Just gonna stick these down where they are. Sorry, this is where I get really quiet, trying to make sure I get these stuck down all square and even. I think that does it. We're going to call this good and wrap up just in time, even by adding another step that I hadn't even planned on. I'll put these away in a minute, so I'm going to try and be really careful not to knock those down. And we are done. Look at all that pretty sparkle. Still got these extra little bits. These might end up getting tucked on the inside. I haven't quite decided, but save those for now. But we've got sparkle. We've got a couple little butterflies tucked in there for fun. And I'm going to switch the camera around and keep an eye out here for Leah to go ahead and announce today's winner. And then I can let you guys go. So yes, it is delicate work. I will agree with that. Who said that? Sherry, yes, it is absolutely delicate work, but totally worth it. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining me today. I'm just gonna keep watching for a winner and part. It scares me leaving bling out on trays and not putting it away because I can't even count how many times I've knocked over the 3 different colors and multiple brass trays. You've got to have more than one because sometimes you don't know what color you want, or you want a few different colors. So I'm all about, and I love how the triangles kind of all fit together. Okay, good. That's all clean now. Now I can relax and I don't have to stress about that. All right, and there's today's winner. T. Chamberlain 2000. You are today's $15 gift card winner. Congratulations. Thank you for joining us today. The instructions there in the comment to claim your prize are all there, but you just need to email Leah at Pinkfresh Studio. Her name is Lea, no H on the end. Give her 2 to 3 business days to get back to you. She gets a lot of emails. And then have fun shopping. What great timing. Okay, good. And she even saw it on there that she was the winner. Perfect. All right. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Same time, same place on Thursday. We have Scrapbook Live with Natalie this week. Even if you're a card maker and you're not into scrapbooking, there's always some really great techniques and ideas that you can incorporate into card making. And who knows, we might even convert you into memory keeping as well. And a lot of our papers and embellishments are also great for card making. So sometimes you can take even some of those ideas and incorporate them. And there's, of course, always a $15 gift card up for grabs for those as well. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys there. And Leah and I will see you next week for a sneak peek of our June release. So you get to have both of us next week. All right. Have a great week, everybody. And I will see you again soon.